All right. Welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in the studio, joined by this guy over here, Randy Angston.
This guy.
Hey,
What up, guy?
Lots going on. Just did a big walkthrough with the contractors on the other side.
Change
orders, changing lights, ordering new stuff. Fun stuff. Anybody's ever built out a gym before, you know what I'm talking about. Surprisingly enough, we're on schedule, which is unheard of, by the way. Yeah,
no, it's all good.
Still have a second phase to do.
And there's the difference. I mean, obviously, for those that don't know, Tim and I both have, he's got a degree in construction management, and I spent years in that field, and nothing ever finishes on time in construction. If you're doing a grand opening, bake in a couple weeks for your permits and the delays, and it's always something goofy. It's never your choosing. It's never, but it was going to happen.
Yep. Quick heads up, the Fit Pro Grow Summit at fitprogrowsummit.com is June 8th through 11th of 2023. So got some time, but let me tell you a quick warning that the tickets are going to be more expensive in the future. So if you're interested in coming out, this is our 5th annual. Crazy to think that we started this, in
5 years ago.
Yeah. What was it, 2019?
19?
19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, it's our 5th annual. See how we did the math?
Everyone watching me and Tim count.
5th annual. We're getting bigger and bigger. Last year we did it in Nashville, and you just, if you were on Facebook at, any several weeks after that event, people were just ranting and raving about how the event went. And it was, it's exciting because most of the seminars and summits in the fitness space are very training focused, very, practitioner focus, and not so much business focus, which is all we focus on. And that's what we love. And, without the business, you can't train clients. And so while I totally agree, you need to educate yourself on the training aspects and the science and everything. We're going to leave that to the other seminars.
There's plenty of them.
We're going to take over the business side of it and just grow your business, because there's just not enough education out there for gyms. You just got to kind of learn as you go, and we're trying to fix that and be on the forefront of what's working now, right? And that's the big takeaway: growth.
Yeah, and growth. Growth is tough because it's not just marketing and sales, right? There's a lot that go into growing a business and growing something that's sustainable, that's, that you can duplicate, the systems, the processes in place. And so we boil it down to, finite details and make sure that everything in your business is tuned up. And that's what we care about. That's it. That's our passion when it comes to the fitness of business.
We want you to be here 5, 7, 10, 12 years from now, just growing, right? And just crushing it. So speaking of business, something that's kind of not spoken in the fitness industry is, attrition, right? Attrition, retention. So retention is how many clients you hold on a percentage. How many attrition is how many you lose, like the churn, right? And so something that is funny that you don't hear much about is the cancellations.
Sure. Well, social media is the highlight reel, right? The conversation's the good. Nobody's talking about how dire things can be sometimes.
Right. All you hear is the sales, and we signed up 25 members this month, and it's great, right? But here's what's not talked about is what is a good attrition rate, meaning how, as a percentage, what is considered a goal or a milestone, or what are you trying to hit? And I would tell you right now, between 3 and 4%, even maybe on the high end 5%, if you could be under 5%, you're doing good. That's the average.
And
right?
And there's got to be an understanding. Zero attrition is nearly impossible, right? Because of the things that we can't control, right? Unfortunate deaths, people move, new jobs. There are things that are outside of our control, and there needs to be some understanding for it. But you got to go for the 99%. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, the top 5%. Let's shoot for 5% or less.
Yeah,
and that's a win. Big wins.
The best I've ever done. And again, after a year plus in business is about the time you start tracking this. Is the best I've ever done was 2 months at 0% attrition, meaning we didn't lose anybody for 2 months. Now over the year, 3% would be amazing. I think we're probably 5 to 7% in several months, right? It is what it is. Like you said, like you'd love to keep everybody happy. You'd love to have them paying forever. But we've had deaths. People move all the time. And so like a lot of times when we go through our cancellations, I look at why, like what's the cancellation?
Absolutely.
And it's almost always moving. It's almost always moving or work related. I'm still living here, but they've got me on the road pretty heavy for the next 16, 18 months. And I got this new promotion. I just can't come in. And while we'd love to say, hey, find an hour when you're in town to keep you, just in their head, they've already made the decision a lot of times, like, oh, I'm just not able to work out. And so, we do a very good job of trying to keep people and just talking some sense into them. What, are you just not going to work out at all? Like, what are you doing here? Can we train you online? And there's all these kind of backup plans. But at the end of the day, let's just say your attrition's 4 or 5%. If you have 200 members at even 5%, you're losing 10 members every single month. What does that really mean? That means you have to sign up 10 members this month to be break even, right? And so like there's no growth happening. You're signing up 10 people and, now you're getting ahead after the 10th one. And that's a tough place to be. But there becomes the ceiling in the fitness industry, at least in the training gym space, that nobody really talks about, that there is a kind of a cap because you've kind of decided how much money you're going to spend on marketing. That cost per acquisition is going to be about the same every single month. And you're only going to get X amount of people. And if it's 10 people, you're signing up and you're losing 10 people, you just stay the same. Sort of, right? Let's talk about inflation, of course. Right. But if you find yourself in this business 3, 5, 7, 8 years into it, and you just can't get over the cap of, we can't ever get past 280 members, whatever that number is for you. This is the reason you're hitting great attrition numbers or great retention numbers, but you just can't outspend it. You can't outpace it. It's just this kind of 5 in, 5 out. And we found ourselves like that for years. And we just thought that's the way it was. We would get frustrated because we were like, gosh, why can't we get to 300 members? It's just this.
I remember that on the white or the little blackboard or whiteboard for years.
And we would get close and we'd drop back down. We get close and we drop back down. And you'll find gym owners listening, you're probably like, dude, yeah, my number is 158 or 600, whatever it is. And that's the reason. So now what do you do about it? What do you do? Like, you can try your damnedest to have happy hours and customer experiences at an all-time high. And we check in with people and make sure that they're coming in and they're getting 8 sessions a month on a minimum. Like, but what happens when they move? Like, there's nothing there's nothing you can do.
There's a couple of things we've talked about. I mean, I've put my flag in the ground, probably episode 2 about the growth versus decay, right? And this is a perfect example of how it's happening in your business and you don't even realize it. Right? Your idea of maybe I stay the same, maybe I just break even or oh, it's the summer, it's not a real busy time for us. I'm coasting right now. We'll ramp up the sales come fall. How many of those clients left? Right? You decayed and you didn't even realize it. So you're not just maintaining, it is growth or decay.
Correct.
The choice has to be that. You have to make a decision every month to, at minimum, cover that attrition rate if you expect to quote unquote maintain, right? Same thing happens everywhere else. The second F is, as your membership base grows and those percentages stay the same, the number of clients leaving your business each month grows. 5% of 100 versus 5% of 200 is an entirely different number of people, right? So, the controlled attrition that you can control. You can plug the gaps. You can plug the holes. You can work on retention. There's always going to be the guy that moves. There's always going to be the stuff you can't control. Your job is filling those holes, right? Control the controllables to the best of your ability, provide the greatest service you can, and try and keep everybody you can. You can't stop somebody from moving, but you sure as hell can stop somebody from going to the gym down the street because you didn't show up.
Yeah, perfect.
That shit's on you. So, yep. But this is the growth versus decay. This another thing there, you were talking about the growth and how do you get there and how do you make it happen? This is where we go to math. I mean, even if we know that we need 10 clients a month, once we've figured out our math of marketing, we know exactly how much we need to spend in order to even be in the arena to do so, right? If a cost per acquisition costs us this to acquire a client, how many multiples of that do I need just to cover my ass? Plus, how many do I want to grow by? We can reverse engineer our marketing spend based on what we need to grow our business or if you even want to believe it, maintain your business, right? But ignorance is not bliss in this situation. There's no reason that you shouldn't know your numbers to this degree and be able to understand what it's going to take to grow your business despite 5% leaving.
Yeah, exactly. And so then the next question becomes, okay, well, if this is what it is and where I'm going to be, how do I get ahead? Like, and that's probably the next logical thing you're probably thinking, like, how do I get ahead? The way you get ahead is you have a higher price point. You can make more money with the same amount of clients by charging more. You can run a high ticket front end offer, call it a transformation, what have you, for $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, and not have any additional members. Making more money from the clients that you have is going to end up being the goal, because again, with the marketing spend, you're going to cap out at there's going to be this kind of like glass ceiling in the business where you just can't get ahead. The way to break through that glass ceiling is charge more.
Yeah.
Period. Charge more for one-time offers and charge more for total memberships. That's how you get ahead. That's, if you go back to our past episode, 200 members for $1 million is a great model. It's a great model. We love it. It's very manageable. We've got the perfect amount of clients, and we can do that. And it's not too stressful, honestly.
Sure.
But if we had 300 members at paying less, we would never get ahead. We just wouldn't ever get to $1 million. And so the question, and I almost brought this up on the last episode, like, why 200 members?
Sure.
When we were talking about that. Well, with 4 full-time coaches at 50 clients each, guess what? If I go to 250 members, I may not make as much money profit. We did the math and it was like, well, if we grow past this, we're going to need to add more staff. Therefore, our profit margins go down. Let's stay in the arena of 4 quarters equals $1 versus 10 dimes equals $1. I think it's just a better place to be.
Now, it does come, there is risk. You do accept the fact that when somebody leaves, they do leave with a bigger piece of the pie.
Right.
But that shit falls back on you again. Like, it's your job to keep your clients. Somebody moves. Okay, but it's not everybody, right? Exactly. And then you can outgrow that problem. You only need to replace one person, not 8 more people. And yeah, I would much rather, and I think our business here, the way that Pulse is designed, the way that our beliefs are in the fitness industry, and who, the flags that we've planted, it is much, much more conducive to work with fewer people and deliver a higher caliber product and service than it is to try and serve everybody and nickel and dime yourself to death, because it's just the mayhem that comes with that is just, it's not worth it.
I agree. So that's kind of where our stance is, and something that, again, Jim, the gurus out there aren't really talking about this attrition. It's just, that's that glass ceiling that you find yourself tapping every single time and you just can't get ahead. And this is why. This is really why. Unless you outspend the problem and triple your marketing spend to where you get ahead, right? Let's just say you added the net 20 clients for 2 straight months, but guess what? Now you're at 40 plus clients more than you were. What's 5% of 40? Do the math. You have to replace more people next month. So it's just like this kind of like hamster wheel approach. And it is what it is. You need to be aware of it. That's the thing.
Yeah, correct.
Most aren't. Most are just frustrated they can't get ahead.
And start with what you mentioned about knowing why people are leaving. If you have a problem with attrition in your business, you absolutely need to know in some sort of exit interview or something why they're leaving. Because this is where it comes back to, is this your responsibility or a non-controllable?
Well, I'll give a great example. We had an Iron Circle member where we were going through their cancellations, and we've pinpointed it was the experience.
Yeah.
The coaches,
A
couple guys got hurt on the training floor. They weren't getting the attention. They weren't motivated on the coach. It was the coach's problem,
issue,
which is in turn was the owner problem. And once we identified that, we attacked the shit out of that thing. And he's trained his trainers. He's taken them to perform better. And within not even 2 months since we've had this conversation, he says his team is so fired up and they're not losing people. And it was an experience issue. But yeah, it goes back to knowing where the hell these people, why are they leaving?
Yeah.
And we found it, and he was tracking it. So good for him for finding that out, but he was just too close to it to understand. I kept seeing the same kind of reoccurring reason, and it came down to the coaches.
And that can be one of those hard things to admit. Right. They're and I'm not his specific situation, but I could understand a gym owner that kind of kicks the can down the road and doesn't face that problem because it does roll up on them. right? It's not something that's easily, figured out where,
click a button.
Yeah, exactly. Let me go make that change. This is on me. And to take that ownership, accountability, roll it uphill, allow, and then have a game plan and do something about it. That's how you fix these problems. That's how you make these things go away and
for good.
Stick to them. We talked about that a lot, right? When you solve the problem, solve it once and stick to that system. Don't get off of that and let the problem rebubble up, because I'd say most of those fires in businesses are a lot of those.
It's hilarious.
It sucks, but it is a fact of, and I think gym owners are, constantly they're trying to put out a bunch of fires.
They don't see it.
So yeah, when you're focused over here, this one just bubbles up again. And when a problem arises, first figure out if you have solved this problem first. If you have, go implement that strategy. If not, then attack it. But that's your lesson for the day.
Yeah. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this makes shed some light, some clarity on what's probably happening in your business right now and how to fix it. So hopefully that helps you guys. Go to fitprogrowsummit.com. Check out the Grow Summit. Can't wait to see you guys. It is a little ways out, but again, the tickets will be going up, and you've got a great discount on rooms right now. So fitprogrowsummit.com. That's it for this episode. Till next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye. All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals, and when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.